I warned her not to go to that bar with him. She went anyway, wearing the blue dress he told her to wear. When she came home at midnight smelling like his cologne, I didn't yell. I just made one phone call that would expose a lie she'd been hiding for 16 years. A lie about my own son. My name is Joel Lawson. I'm 46 years old, and I've spent the last 18 years building Lawson Risk Management from a one-man operation to a respected insurance brokerage with 23 employees and clients across 3 states. Monica and I met when I was still cold calling businesses from a cubicle. She was a junior sales associate at Meridian Insurance then, ambitious and driven, with a smile that could close deals I couldn't even get in the door for. We built our lives together. 2 kids, Ashley, 19 and finishing her freshman year at UC Boulder, and Dylan, 16, who just got his driver's license. The house in Riverside Oaks with the backyard pool. Annual family trips to Lake Tahoe. 22 years of marriage, most of them good. Monica made vice president of sales at Meridian 14 months ago. The promotion came with a corner office, a company car, and Garrett Phillips as her new regional director. I met him at the celebration dinner, one of those corporate events where everyone drinks too much. Garrett was 42, divorced, with easy confidence and a Rolex that probably cost more than my first car. Joel, right? Garrett said, his handshake lingering too long. Monica talks about you constantly. The self-made man. That's admirable. Monica laughed, touching Garrett's arm. Garrett's been instrumental in restructuring our sales approach. We've increased regional revenue by 38%. Team effort, Garrett said, looking at her instead of me. Couldn't have done it without Monica's vision. I smile because that's what you do. You smile and pretend you don't notice the way your wife's boss looks at her. The late nights started after that. Client presentations. Monica would say, texting at 7 that she'd be home by 10. 10 became 11. 11 became midnight. Weekend strategy sessions multiplied. I didn't question it. Monica had earned that promotion. But 3 weeks ago, during dinner, Monica's phone buzzed on the table between us. Looking forward to Friday. 8 p.m. at Harrington's. Wear that blue dress. The message was from Garrett Phillips. Monica grabbed the phone, so fast she knocked over her wine glass. Red liquid spread across the white tablecloth. That's just a work thing, she said, voice too bright. Team celebration for quarterly numbers. On a Friday night, I asked. At Harrington's. Harrington's wasn't a team place. It was intimate tables, dim lighting, wine starting at $60. Where I'd taken Monica for our 10th anniversary. It's not just us, she said, already heading for paper towels. The whole regional team. I watched her hands shake as she blotted the stain. Watch her avoid my eyes. Friday came. I told Monica I thought it was inappropriate, her going to that bar with Garrett, especially after that text. We were in our bedroom, her trying on the blue dress. You're being paranoid, Joel, Monica said. This is my career. Garrett's my boss. These events are part of the job. Then why did he tell you what to wear? He didn't tell me. He suggested. There's a difference. Monica. She turned, and for a second I saw something I couldn't read. Guilt. Defiance. I'm going, she said quietly. You need to trust me. I wanted to believe her. 22 years should mean more than a text about a blue dress. But when Monica walked out at 7:30, leaving that new perfume behind, something inside me made a decision. I wasn't going to just sit home and wait. I sat in my car outside Harrington's for 20 minutes before I saw them arrive. Monica pulled into the parking lot at 8:07, 7 minutes late, which wasn't like her. She was always punctual, almost obsessively so. But tonight she'd taken extra time with her makeup, her hair, that blue dress that hugged her in ways I hadn't noticed in years. Garrett's BMW was already there, parked near the entrance like he owned the place. I watched Monica walk in, watched her pause at the door to check her reflection in the glass, smooth down her dress, take a breath like she was preparing for something important. Not a team celebration. Something else entirely. My phone buzzed. A text from Dylan asking if I'd pick him up for basketball practice at 9:30. I replied yes, trying to keep my hand steady on the phone. Our son had no idea his mother was sitting down to dinner with another man while his father sat in a parking lot feeling like the world was tilting sideways. I told her not to go to that bar with him. The words kept running through my head on a loop. I'd warned her, clearly, directly. When she didn't listen, when she walked out that door anyway, something fundamental shifted in me. I couldn't just sit at home anymore, couldn't just trust and hope and wait for reassurance that never came. So I took action. I called my buddy Ethan that afternoon, the one person who'd understand without judgment. Ethan had been my best friend since college, had stood next to me at my wedding, knew Monica almost as well as I did. He was a private investigator now, ran his own firm doing corporate background checks and insurance fraud cases. "I need your help," I told him over the phone. "What's going on, Joel?" Ethan's voice had gone serious immediately. "Monica, I think she's having an affair." There'd been a long pause. "You sure?" "No. That's why I need you." Ethan met me at a coffee shop 2 blocks from Harrington's at 8:30. He showed up in jeans and a jacket, camera equipment in a nondescript bag, looking nothing like the suit-wearing investigator who testified in court cases. "You really want to do this?" Ethan asked as we sat in his car. "Once you see something, you can't unsee it." "I already can't unsee what I've been ignoring for months," I replied. "I just need proof. Something concrete." "All right," Ethan said. "But Joel, if this goes where I think it's going, you need to be smart about it. Don't confront her tonight. Don't do anything emotional. We document. We gather evidence. And then you make decisions from a position of strength, not reaction." I nodded, but inside I felt like I was made of glass, one wrong move away from shattering completely. Ethan positioned himself with a clear view through Harrington's front windows. The restaurant had floor-to-ceiling glass overlooking the river, all atmosphere and ambience. Through the window, I could see Monica and Garrett at a corner table. Just the two of them. No regional team. No colleagues. Just them. Garrett reached across the table and took Monica's hand. She didn't pull away. I felt my chest constrict, breath catching in a way that had nothing to do with the cold night air. Ethan's camera clicked softly, capturing the moment, the touch, the intimacy of two people who weren't having a business dinner. "There's your proof," Ethan said quietly. "I'm sorry, man." I watched them for another 15 minutes. Watch Garrett lean in close, whisper something that made Monica laugh. Watch her touch his arm the same way she used to touch mine when we were dating, back when I was the only man who made her smile like that. My phone buzzed again. Dylan, reminding me about practice pickup. "I have to go get my son," I said, voice flat. Ethan put a hand on my shoulder. "We'll figure this out. But Joel, listen to me. Don't go home and blow up tonight. Sleep on it. Make a plan. You got kids to think about." I drove to the high school gym, picked up Dylan, listened to him talk about basketball drills and his friend's new gaming setup. He had no idea that in the span of one evening, I confirmed his mother was cheating and his family was about to implode. When we got home, Monica's car wasn't in the driveway yet. "Where's Mom?" Dylan asked. "Work dinner," I said, the lie tasting like ash in my mouth. "She'll be home soon." Dylan headed upstairs to shower, and I sat in the kitchen with the lights off, waiting. Monica came home at 11:43 p.m. Monica walked in smelling like wine and lies. She kicked off her heels in the hallway, humming something under her breath, completely unaware I was sitting in the dark kitchen watching her. "Joel," she called out, voice light, almost cheerful. "You still up?" I flicked on the light. Monica jumped slightly, hand going to her chest. "You scared me," she said, laughing. "Why are you sitting in the dark?" "How was the team dinner?" I asked, keeping my voice level. "Good. Productive. We finalized a strategy for next quarter." She moved to the refrigerator, poured herself water. "Garrett's really pushing us to expand into the commercial sector." The way she said his name, casual, familiar, like I hadn't just watched her hold hands with him 2 hours ago. "Just you and Garrett?" I asked. Monica paused, glass halfway to her lips. "No, the whole team was there." "I told you that." "That's interesting," I said, "because I drove by Harrington's around 8:30. Looked like just the two of you at that corner table." I watched the color drain from her face. Watch her brain scramble for an explanation, a deflection, anything to maintain the lie. "You followed me." Monica's voice shifted, defensive now. "Are you serious right now? You're spying on me." "I warned you not to go," I replied. "I told you it was inappropriate. You went anyway. So yes, I drove by. And I saw exactly what kind of team dinner you were having." "This is insane, Joel. You're being paranoid and controlling. The team was supposed to come. They canceled last minute." "What was I supposed to do? Cancel a work meeting with my boss?" "Stop lying to me." My voice was quiet but firm. "I saw you, Monica. I saw how he looked at you. How you looked at him. That wasn't business." She set down the glass, crossed her arms. I'm not doing this. I'm not going to defend myself against your jealous accusations. If you can't trust me after 22 years, that's your problem, not mine. She walked past me toward the stairs. I let her go. Ethan's words echoed in my head. Don't confront her until you have everything you need. I spent the weekend playing the dutiful husband while gathering evidence. Saturday morning, I told Monica I had client meetings. Instead, I drove to Ethan's office. I need more than photos from one dinner, I told him. I need everything. Phone records, emails, financial transactions, whatever you can legally get. Ethan nodded, pulling up files on his computer. I already started digging. Did you know Monica opened a separate credit card 3 months ago? Not on any of your joint accounts. What? He turned the screen toward me. A Capital One card in Monica's name only, with a billing address at her office. Charges for hotels, restaurants, weekend trips to places we'd never been together. She's been planning this, Ethan said. This isn't some impulsive affair. This is calculated. My hands clenched into fists. What else? Give me a week. I'll have a complete picture. That week felt like drowning in slow motion. I went to work, came home, had dinner with my family, all while knowing my wife was living a double life. Dylan asked if Mom and I were fighting. Ashley called from college worried because Mom seemed distant during their phone calls. I held it together because that's what men do. We don't fall apart. We assess, plan, and execute. Thursday afternoon, Ethan called. His voice was tight, professional, the tone he used when delivering bad news. You need to come to my office, he said. Now. I rescheduled 2 client meetings and drove straight there. Ethan had documents spread across his desk like evidence at a crime scene. Sit down, Joel, he said. I sat. Monica's been transferring money from your joint business account to a separate account for 8 months. Ethan began, sliding a printout toward me. Small amounts at first, $2,000 here, $3,000 there. But it adds up. She's moved $87,000. The number hit me like a physical blow. 87,000. It gets worse. Ethan pulled up another document. That money's going into an LLC registered 6 months ago. Pinnacle Insurance Solutions. Want to guess who the partners are? I didn't need a guess. Monica and Garrett. Correct. They're building a competing firm using your money, your client lists, your business model. I found emails between them discussing which of your clients they're going to poach once they launch. I stared at the documents, at the evidence of systematic betrayal. This wasn't just an affair. This was corporate espionage, theft, a planned destruction of everything I'd built. There's more, Ethan said quietly. I got her phone records. She's been in contact with Garrett constantly. Hundreds of texts, calls at all hours. But Joel, there's something else you need to know about Dylan. My head snapped up. What about Dylan? Ethan's expression was pained. He slid another document across the desk. Medical records, lab results, DNA testing from 16 years ago. I don't understand, I said, scanning the papers. Monica had a relationship with Garrett in high school. Ethan explained. They dated senior year, broke up when he went to college. But according to these records I found in her email archives, they reconnected 17 years ago, right before Dylan was born. The room tilted. No, she had a paternity test done when Dylan was 6 months old. Private lab, paid cash. The results are in that file. I opened the folder with shaking hands. Read the conclusion 3 times before it registered. Probability of paternity, 99.97%. Garrett Phillips confirmed as biological father. I've been raising another man's son for 16 years. I whispered. I'm sorry, Joel, but you needed to know the truth before you make your next move. I sat there, papers in hand, watching my entire life rewrite itself. Every baseball game, every parent-teacher conference, every birthday party. I'd love that boy as my own. He was my own, in every way that mattered except biology. Does Garrett know? I asked. Based on their emails, yes. He's known from the beginning. They planned it that way. Monica wanted security, stability. You provided that while she kept Garrett on the side. I stood up, paced to the window. Outside, people were going about their normal days, unaware that my world had just been shattered and reassembled into something unrecognizable. What do? I asked, my voice raw. You fight, Ethan replied. You protect yourself, your business, and your daughter. And you decide what relationship you want with Dylan moving forward, because regardless of biology, you're still the man who raised him. I nodded slowly. The shock was wearing off, replaced by something colder, sharper. I need a lawyer, I said. The best one you know. Patricia Hendricks had an office that matched her reputation. Corner suite downtown, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the financial district, awards from the State Bar Association lining the walls. She was 52, had handled 300 divorce cases, and had never lost when protecting a business owner's assets. Mr. Lawson, she greeted me, shaking my hand with a grip that meant business. Ethan, fill me in on the basics. Let's talk about what we're really dealing with here. I sat across from her massive desk and laid out everything. The affair, the secret company, the stolen money, the DNA results showing Dylan wasn't mine biologically. Patricia listened without interrupting, taking notes in neat handwriting. How's your relationship with Dylan? She asked when I finished. He's my son, I said firmly. Biology doesn't change that. I've raised him for 16 years. I'm not walking away from him. Patricia nodded approvingly. Good, because that's going to be your strongest position morally, and it'll play well if this goes to court. Now, let's talk about Monica and Garrett's little business venture. She pulled out a legal pad and started sketching a strategy. They've committed multiple actionable offenses. Embezzlement from your business account, corporate espionage, potentially fraud, depending on how they use your client information. We can pursue criminal charges if you want. I want them to pay, I said. But I don't want Dylan caught in the crossfire. Understood. Here's what we're going to do. First, we freeze all joint accounts immediately. Second, we file an injunction preventing Monica from accessing any business files or client lists. Third, we send a cease and desist to Pinnacle Insurance Solutions regarding the use of your proprietary information. And fourth, we prepare for a custody battle, because Monica's going to fight dirty when she realizes you know everything. What about Ashley? I asked. She's 19, technically an adult, but she's still in college. I'm paying her tuition. We'll need to have a conversation with her before Monica does. She deserves to know the truth from you, not a twisted version from her mother. The thought of telling my daughter that her mother had been lying to all of us for 16 years made my chest tight. But Patricia was right. Ashley needed to hear from me. There's something else. Patricia continued. Your mother has been giving Monica money. Do you know about this? I stared at her. What? She slid a bank statement across the desk. My mother's checking account, with regular transfers to Monica over the past 3 years. $500 a month, sometimes more. How did you get this? I asked. Your mother's accountant is a friend of mine. When I mentioned your case, he thought you should know. Apparently, Monica convinced your mother that you were being financially controlling, that she needed money for personal expenses you wouldn't approve. My mother had been funding my wife's affair. The betrayal kept layering, each revelation worse than the last. I'll handle my mother, I said quietly. Patricia's expression softened slightly. Joel, I know this is overwhelming, but you need to stay focused. Monica's going to realize soon that you're building a case. When that happens, she'll either come at you with everything she has, or she'll try to play victim and manipulate you back into complacency. You cannot let her do either. I won't, I promised. Good, because we're going to dismantle her piece by piece, legally and thoroughly. By the time we're done, she'll wish she'd been honest from the start. I left Patricia's office with a folder full of documents to sign and a timeline for the next 30 days. Everything had to move fast now. Freeze the accounts, secure the business, protect Ashley and Dylan, confront my mother. That evening, I called Ashley at college. She answered on the third ring, music playing in the background. Hey Dad, what's up? Ashley's voice was cheerful, completely unaware of what I was about to tell her. Ash, I need you to come home this weekend. It's important. Family stuff. The music went quiet. Is someone sick? Is it Grandma? No one's sick. But there are some things happening with your mom and me that you need to know about. I'd rather tell you in person. There was a long pause. Are you guys getting divorced? I closed my eyes. Yes, sweetheart. We are. Ashley's breath caught. Because of that guy at her work, isn't it? Garrett. You knew. I suspected. Mom's been weird for months. Different. I saw her texting him during Thanksgiving, smiling at her phone like she used to smile at you. My daughter had been carrying that knowledge alone, not wanting to believe what she was seeing. Come home Friday, I said. We'll talk about everything. And Ashley, no matter what happens between your mom and me, you and Dylan are the most important thing to me. That will never change. Okay, Dad. I'll be there. After we hung up, I sat in my car in the parking garage and let myself feel it. All of it. The betrayal, the anger, the grief for the marriage I thought I had. Then I wiped my eyes, straightened my shoulders, and drove home. Monica was making dinner when I walked in, humming that same tune from the night at Harrington's. "Hey, honey," she said brightly. "How was your day?" I looked at her, really looked at her, and wondered how I'd ever trusted this woman. "Fine," I said. "Just fine." I drove to my mother's house Saturday morning. She lived 20 minutes away in the same neighborhood where I grew up, a small ranch-style home my father had bought 40 years ago. After Dad passed 5 years back, I'd offered to have her move in with us. She'd refused, said she valued her independence. Now I understood why. Independence to fund my wife's affair without me knowing. Mom was in the garden when I pulled up, trimming her roses in the early morning sun. She smiled when she saw me, that same warm smile from my childhood, and it made what I had to do even harder. "Joel, what a nice surprise," she said, pulling off her gardening gloves. "Come in, I'll make coffee." We sat at our kitchen table, the same table where I'd done homework as a kid, where we'd had family dinners every Sunday. The normalcy of it felt wrong, given what I was about to say. "Mom, I need to ask you about something." I began carefully. "Have you been giving Monica money?" The color drained from her face. She set down her coffee cup with shaking hands. "Who told you that?" she asked quietly. "Doesn't matter. Is it true?" She was silent for a long moment, then nodded. "Yes. For about 3 years now." "Why?" Mom's eyes filled with tears. "Monica came to me, said you were being controlling about finances, that she needed money for personal things and didn't want to fight with you about it. She said you questioned every purchase, made her feel like she had to justify everything." I believed her, Joel. She was my daughter-in-law. I trusted her. She was lying, Mom. She used that money to fund an affair. She's been cheating on me with a man from her work, stealing money from my business to start a competing company with him. And you helped her do it. My mother's hand went to her mouth. "Oh my God. Joel, I didn't know. I swear I didn't know." "She played you," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "She manipulated you into thinking I was the problem, so you'd give her money without telling me." "How much did you give her total?" "Maybe 18,000 over 3 years, Mom whispered. "Joel, I'm so sorry. I thought I was helping her." She seemed so stressed, so unhappy. "I thought you two were having problems, and she just needed some breathing room." "We were having problems because she was having an affair," I replied. "And now my marriage is over, my business is at risk, and I'm finding out my 16-year-old son isn't biologically mine." Mom's eyes widened. "What?" I told her everything. About Dylan, about Garrett, about how Monica had been living a double life for over a decade. My mother cried through most of it, apologizing over and over. "I failed you," she said finally. "Your father would be ashamed of me. Dad would understand," I said, though I wasn't entirely sure that was true. "Monica's good at manipulation. She fooled me for years. But Mom, I need you to understand something. When this goes to court, you might be called to testify about the money. You need to be prepared for that." She nodded, wiping her eyes. "I'll tell them everything. I'll help however I can." "Joel, what are you going to do about Dylan?" "I'm going to be his father," I said firmly. "The same way I've always been. He doesn't know yet. I'm not sure when or how to tell him. But biology doesn't change the fact that I raised him, that I love him. That's the man your father raised," Mom said, reaching across the table to grip my hand. "Whatever you need from me, whatever I can do to help you through this, I'm here." I stayed another hour, talking through the logistics, the timeline, what would happen when Monica found out I knew everything. When I finally left, Mom walked me to my car. "Joel, one more thing," she said hesitantly. "Monica asked me for more money last week. $10,000. She said you were planning a surprise vacation for the family, and she wanted to contribute. I told her I'd think about it." "Don't give her anything else," I said. "And Mom, don't tell her we had this conversation. Not yet. I need a few more days before everything explodes." She promised, hugged me tight like she used to when I was a kid, and it scraped my knee and watched me drive away. On the way home, my phone rang. Patricia Hendricks. "Joel, we have a problem," she said without preamble. "Monica just tried to transfer another $30,000 from your business account. I caught it because we flagged the account yesterday, but she's making moves. We need to act now." "Do it," I said. "File everything." "You sure?" "Once we file, there's no going back." I thought about Monica humming in our kitchen, about the lies, about Dylan who deserved better than parents who'd built his entire existence on deception. I'm sure, I said. In this. The courthouse steps felt colder than they should have in early June. I stood there with Patricia, watching Monica and her attorney emerge from the preliminary hearing. Monica wore a navy suit, pearls, the picture of professional respectability. She'd even managed to look wounded, like she was the victim in all this. She's good, Patricia muttered beside me, playing the wronged wife angle perfectly. Monica's attorney, a slick corporate lawyer named Richard Stanton, had spent the last hour painting me as a paranoid, controlling husband who'd driven his wife away with accusations and surveillance. He'd even suggested I'd fabricated the DNA evidence out of spite. We need something stronger, I said quietly. Something she can't spin. We have the financial records, the company documents. Not enough. You saw how Stanton twisted everything. We need her in her own words admitting what she did. Patricia looked at me carefully. What are you thinking? That evening, I called Monica. She answered on the second ring. What do you want, Joel? Her voice was tired, defensive. I want to talk. Just us. No lawyers. No drama. The kids deserve better than what we're putting them through. Silence. Then carefully, what kind of talk? Come to the house tomorrow night. 7 o'clock. Let's see if we can work something out before this gets uglier. You're willing to negotiate. I'm willing to listen. I lied. Maybe we can find a way through this that doesn't destroy everyone. She agreed, probably thinking she can manipulate me one more time, convince me to back off, to settle for less. She didn't know that Patricia had coached me through every word of that conversation, or that my house was now equipped with recording devices in every room. Monica arrived exactly at 7, wearing jeans and a sweater, casual, like we were just going to have a normal conversation. She'd left the professional armor at home. Thank you for agreeing to this, she said, sitting on the couch where we'd watched 1,000 movies together. I poured us both wine, made small talk about the kids. Ashley had decided to take summer classes. Dylan had made the varsity basketball team for next year. Normal things, safe things, lowering her guard. Joel, I know things got out of hand, Monica began after her second glass. But we can fix this. We don't have to destroy everything we built. Tell me about Garrett, I said quietly. How long has it really been? She hesitated. The wine was working, loosening her tongue. We dated in high school. You knew that. I didn't actually. You never mentioned him. It was a long time ago. Ancient history. She took another sip. But we reconnected at my 15-year reunion. You didn't come with me that night, remember? You had a work thing. 17 years ago, right before Dylan was born. And you've been together since then? I asked. Not together. We'd see each other occasionally. It wasn't supposed to be serious. It was just, she stopped, realizing she was saying too much. Just what? Just something for me, Monica said, voice rising. Something that was mine, not ours, not about the kids or the mortgage or your business. Do you know what it's like to be Monica Lawson, wife of Joel Lawson, mother of his children? Never just Monica. So you started a company with him using my money? She laughed bitterly. Your money? I work for that money too, Joel. I gave up my career ambitions to support yours. Those client lists you're so precious about, I helped you build half of them. That business was as much mine as yours. And Dylan? I asked. Was he as much mine too? Monica went very still. What are you talking about? I know Garrett's his biological father. I have the DNA test you had done 16 years ago. The one you paid cash for and kept hidden. You went through my personal files. Her voice was shrill now. That's illegal. You lied to me for 16 years. I cut in. You let me raise another man's child while you carried on an affair with his father. You stole from my business to fund your escape plan. And now you want to talk about illegal. Garrett didn't want kids back then, Monica said, standing up, pacing. He wasn't ready. But I wanted a baby, and you were there, stable, reliable. You were perfect for the role, Joel. The perfect provider, the perfect father. And you were. You gave Dylan everything. Except the truth. The truth. Monica spun to face me. You want truth? Fine. I never loved you the way I love Garrett. You were safe. You were the backup plan. But Garrett, he's the love of my life. He always has been. There it was. Captured on 3 separate recording devices. Her voice, her words, her complete admission. Get out of my house, I said quietly. Monica grabbed her purse, headed for the door, then turned back. You'll never win this, Joel. My lawyer will destroy you. And Dylan will choose me over you when he finds out you're not even his real father. We'll see, I replied. The door slammed. I sat there in the silence, then texted Patricia. Got it all. Her response came immediately. Perfect. This changes everything. Ashley came home from college the following Friday. I picked her up from the airport, and we drove in silence for the first 10 minutes before she finally spoke. Mom called me, Ashley said quietly. Told me her side of everything. And what did she say? That you're trying to take everything from her. That you've turned cruel and vindictive. That she made mistakes, but you're punishing her forever. Ashley paused. Then I talked to Dylan. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. What did he say? He's a mess, Dad. He knows about the DNA test. Mom told him that Garrett's his biological father. She told him you're probably going to abandon him now that you know the truth. Rage flooded through me, hot and immediate. She what? She's manipulating him, Ashley said, voice hardening. Making you the villain so he'll side with her. But Dad, Dylan doesn't believe her. He's scared and confused, but he doesn't believe you'd abandon him. I need to talk to him. He's at the house with Ethan. I asked Ethan to stay with him until we got back. When we got home, Dylan was sitting on the back porch, basketball in his lap, staring at nothing. He looked up when I came out, and I saw my son, the boy I'd raised, taught to ride a bike, stayed up with through nightmares and illnesses. Is it true? Dylan asked. About Garrett? Yes, I said, sitting beside him. He's your biological father, and you're divorcing Mom because of it. I'm divorcing your mom because she lied to all of us for 16 years. Because she stole from my business. Because she chose to betray this family. I turned to face him. But Dylan, listen to me. Biology doesn't change anything between you and me. You're my son. You always will be. Mom said you're going to try to get rid of me. That Garrett wants to be my real dad now. Your mother is lying to manipulate you, I said firmly. I will never abandon you. And if Garrett thinks he can waltz in after 16 years and claim you, he's going to find out exactly what kind of fight I can bring. Dylan's voice was small. Do you still love me? Even though I'm not really yours. I pulled him into a hug. You are really mine. I was there when you were born. I taught you to throw a baseball. I've been to every game, every parent-teacher conference, every moment of your life. Some DNA test doesn't erase that. Ashley joined us on the porch. Dad, there's something else. Mom's been talking to Grandma, trying to get her to testify that you've been financially abusive. She won't do that, I said. We already talked. Are you sure? Because Mom could be really convincing. I was sure, but Ashley's question planted a seed of doubt. That night, I called my mother. Joel, I was about to call you, Mom said when she answered. Monica was here this afternoon. She's desperate, saying terrible things about you. She wanted me to sign an affidavit. Did you? Of course not. But Joel, she's not going to stop. She threatened to keep the grandkids from me if I didn't help her. She can't do that. Ashley's an adult, and I'll have primary custody of Dylan. She mentioned something else. Mom said hesitantly. She said she has therapist notes documenting your controlling behavior. From some marriage counselor you two saw last year. My stomach sank. Dr. Richard Pemberton. Monica had insisted we see him about 6 months ago. Said we needed to work on our communication. I'd gone to 3 sessions before getting too busy with work. Now I understood why she'd pushed so hard for those appointments. She set me up, I said. The whole therapy thing was to build evidence against me. What are you going to do? Fight back, I replied. With everything I have. The next morning, I met with Patricia and played her the recording from my conversation with Monica. She listened to the entire thing without interrupting, her expression growing more satisfied with each damning word. This is exactly what we needed, Patricia said when it finished. Her admission that she never loved you, that you were the backup plan, that she deliberately deceived you about Dylan's paternity. No judge will look kindly on this. What about the therapist notes? I asked. We'll subpoena them and Dr. Pemberton. If Monica paid him to create a false narrative, that's witness tampering. It'll destroy her credibility. And Garrett? Patricia smiled coldly. I have something special planned for Mr. Phillips. Remember that LLC they created? The one they funded with your money? I filed a lawsuit for corporate theft and fraud. His employer, Meridian Insurance, is very interested in the fact that their regional director has been using company resources to build a competing business. He's being suspended pending investigation. What about Dylan? I asked. If Garrett decides he wants custody. Dylan's 16, old enough that the court will consider his preference. And based on what you've told me, Dylan wants to stay with you. We'll fight any custody claim Garrett makes, and we'll win. For the first time since this nightmare started, I felt like I was on solid ground. Monica had underestimated me, thought I'd roll over and accept whatever she dictated. She'd forgotten that I built my business from nothing, that I knew how to fight for what mattered. And nothing mattered more than my kids. The courtroom was smaller than I expected, oak paneling and fluorescent lights that made everyone look slightly ill. Monica sat at the plaintiff's table with Richard Stanton, wearing a conservative gray dress, hair pulled back, playing the role of wounded wife perfectly. Judge Catherine Hamilton presided, a woman in her early 60s known for no-nonsense rulings and zero tolerance for deception. Patricia had researched her extensively. Judge Hamilton had 3 daughters and strong opinions about parental responsibility. Mr. Stanton, call your first witness, Judge Hamilton said. Dr. Richard Pemberton took the stand. The marriage counselor Monica had insisted we see the one who'd supposedly documented my controlling behavior. He looked nervous, kept adjusting his tie. Stanton walked him through his credentials, then asked, Dr. Pemberton, in your professional opinion, what was the primary issue in the Lawson marriage? Mr. Lawson exhibited patterns of financial control and emotional manipulation, Pemberton said, not meeting my eyes. Mrs. Lawson expressed feeling trapped, unable to make independent decisions. And did you document these sessions? Yes, extensively. Patricia stood for cross-examination, and I saw Pemberton's Adams apple bob nervously. Dr. Pemberton, how many sessions did you have with the Lawsons? Patricia asked. 3 joint sessions, and 5 individual sessions with Mrs. Lawson. 5 individual sessions. Isn't that unusual in marriage counseling? Mrs. Lawson requested them. She felt unsafe expressing herself with her husband present. And how much did Mrs. Lawson pay you for these sessions? Pemberton hesitated. The standard rate, $150 per hour. Patricia pulled out a document. According to bank records, Mrs. Lawson paid you $5,000 total for 8 sessions. That's over $600 per hour, more than 4 times your stated rate. Why the discrepancy? There may have been additional consultation time. Or were you paid extra to create a specific narrative? Patricia pressed. One that would support Mrs. Lawson's planned divorce filing. Objection. Stanton jumped up. Counsel is badgering the witness. Overruled, Judge Hamilton said, leaning forward with interest. Dr. Pemberton, answer the question. Pemberton's face was red. Mrs. Lawson wanted thorough documentation. I provided professional services. Professional services that just happened to paint her husband as abusive while ignoring her own admitted affair and financial theft. Patricia let that hang in the air. No further questions. Next, Patricia called Ethan to the stand. He presented the financial evidence methodically. The $87,000 transferred to the LLC, the client lists copied from my servers, the business plan for Pinnacle Insurance Solutions written entirely on company time. Then came my mother. She walked to the stand with her head high, and I saw Monica's face tighten. Mrs. Lawson, you're the defendant's mother, correct? Patricia asked. Yes. Did your daughter-in-law ever ask you for money? Yes. Over 3 years, I gave her approximately $18,000. What reason did she give for needing this money? My mother looked directly at Monica. She told me Joel was financially controlling, that he questioned every purchase she made. She said she needed money for personal items and didn't want to fight with him. I believed her. I was wrong. When did you realize she was lying? When Joel told me about the affair, about the money she'd stolen from his business, about Dylan's paternity, I realized she manipulated me into funding her deception. Monica whispered something urgent to Stanton, but the damage was done. Finally, Patricia played the recording. Monica's voice filled the courtroom. I never loved you the way I love Garrett. You were safe. You were the backup plan. Judge Hamilton's expression hardened as she listened to Monica admit to the deliberate deception about Dylan's paternity, about using me as a provider while maintaining a 15-year affair. When it finished, Monica was pale, and Stanton looked like he wanted to disappear. Mrs. Lawson, Judge Hamilton said, do you dispute the authenticity of that recording? Monica stood slowly. No, Your Honor. but it was recorded without my knowledge. That's illegal wiretapping. In your own marital home, during voluntary conversation? Judge Hamilton raised an eyebrow. I think not. Mr. Stanton, does your client have anything else? Stanton conferred with Monica, then shook his head. No, Your Honor. Judge Hamilton took off her glasses, cleaned them deliberately. I've seen a lot of divorce cases. This one stands out for the level of calculated deception involved. Mrs. Lawson, you committed fraud, both personal and financial. You deceived your husband about the paternity of your child for 16 years. You stole from his business to fund a competing enterprise with your lover. She paused, looking directly at Monica. I'm awarding Mr. Lawson full custody of Dylan, primary custody of assets, and ordering you to return all funds stolen from Lawson Risk Management. You'll also pay Mr. Lawson's legal fees. As for your business venture with Mr. Phillips, I'm recommending the district attorney investigate possible criminal charges. Monica's knees buckled. Stanton caught her arm. Court adjourned. 8 months later, I stood in my newly renovated office, looking out at the city skyline. Lawson Risk Management had survived, even thrived. We picked up 12 new clients in the last quarter, word having spread that I was a man who honored his commitments. Ashley had finished her sophomore year with a 3.8 GPA, declared a business major, said she wanted to work with me after graduation. Dylan had just turned 17, made varsity basketball captain, and stopped asking questions about Garrett, who'd moved to Seattle after losing his job and facing fraud charges that were still pending. Monica lived in a small apartment downtown, working as a junior associate at an insurance firm that didn't know about her past. She had supervised visitation with Dylan twice a month. He went reluctantly, came home angry, but Patricia said that would fade with time. The divorce had been finalized 3 months ago. I kept the house, the business, primary custody. Monica got her car, and whatever personal items she could carry. She tried to appeal Judge Hamilton's ruling, but no attorney would take her case after the recording became part of public record. My mother and I had rebuilt our relationship slowly. She volunteered at Dylan's school now, trying to make amends by being the grandmother she should have been all along. Dad, Dylan appeared in my office doorway. You ready? We're going to be late for dinner. Isabel Morgan was waiting at the restaurant, a small Italian place near the waterfront. She'd left First National after blowing the whistle on Garrett, started her own mortgage consulting firm. We'd been talking for months, carefully, two people who understood what betrayal felt like. Nothing serious. I told Ethan when he asked about her. Just dinner sometimes. Conversation. But it felt like something more than that. Something tentative and honest. Isabel knew my history, knew about Dylan, knew everything. And she was still here. At dinner, Dylan and Ashley talked about college plans while Isabel and I shared knowing glances. After the kids left for a movie, Isabel and I walked along the waterfront. How are you really doing? She asked. Better, I said honestly. Some days I still can't believe how much she lied. But then I look at Dylan and Ashley, and I remember what I'm fighting for. They're good kids. You raised them right. I tried. Still trying. Isabel stopped, turned to face me. Joel, I know you're not looking for anything serious, but I need you to know that when you are ready, I'm interested in getting to know you better and seeing where this could go. I looked at this woman who'd risked her career to help a stranger, who'd sat through Dylan's basketball games just to support him, who'd never once asked for anything in return. I think I might be ready, I said, slowly, carefully, but ready. She smiled, and for the first time in years, I felt something I thought Monica had destroyed. Hope. 3 months after that, Dylan asked if Isabel could come to his senior night for basketball. Ashley called from college to tell me she'd met someone, a business major who reminded her of me. My mother hosted Thanksgiving, and Isabel sat at our table like she belonged there. I still had moments of anger, of wondering how I'd missed the signs for so long. But mostly I felt grateful. Grateful I'd found the strength to walk away, to fight back, to protect my kids, and build something real from the ruins Monica had left behind. The house felt different now. Lighter. The pool where Monica used to sunbathe while texting Garrett was now where Dylan and his friends hung out on weekends. The kitchen where she'd lie to my face was where Isabel and I cooked dinner together, teaching Ashley new recipes over video calls. I'd learned something crucial through all of this. Being a man wasn't about never getting hurt. It was about how you responded when someone tried to destroy you. It was about protecting the people who mattered, about fighting for truth, even when lies were easier, about building something new when the old foundation crumbled. Monica had taken a lot from me, but she hadn't taken everything. She hadn't taken my relationship with my kids, my business, or my ability to trust again. And in the end, that meant I'd won.